21st year of this program, Education Exchange, I would like to begin by welcoming the wonderful team of special education at the Iowa City Community School District. I have a bouquet of experts here that would really explain to us what they do in order to help the needy in our education population. And I would like you to start by introducing yourself, Jay, and what you do.
I am Jay Beaver. I'm a special education coordinator with the school district, and I work primarily with our preschool programs, so students in special education age 3 to 5 years old. And then I also help support our autism programs in our elementary buildings with our curriculum that we use in those programs.
And Lisa.
Hi, I'm a work experience and behavior coordinator for the district, so I'm also one of the coordinators here. I am working on the transition process for students 14 to 21 in Iowa City, as well as working with the modified programs around behavior.
And Savannah Conley.
Hi, I'm Savannah Conley, also a special education coordinator, and I work primarily with the elementary buildings. I'm doing a lot of work with the curriculum materials, professional development, supporting the various programmings, both modified and behavior focused, and autism programs at the elementary, as well as supportive learning supports at the elementary buildings.
And Natalie Thompson.
Hello, I'm Natalie Thompson, and again, a special education coordinator, and I work primarily with the high schools, coordinating services for our special education students in the high schools.
And Denise Yoder.
Hi, I'm Denise Yoder, and I work with 4 of the elementary schools and the programs affiliated with those schools, as well as the junior highs, and sometimes I assist Natalie at the secondary level.
So let us start first and try to simplify to our audience, what do we mean by special education? Is it alternative education? Is it different education? Is it a different curriculum? Or the same curriculum with a different support system? Would you like to address this?
Sure,
Natalie?
I'll start. All of our special education students are general education students first, meaning they have access to everything that our gen ed population has. In addition to that, they've qualified for special education services in academic areas, behavior, executive functioning, and with that eligibility, they get specially designed instruction in the area that they've qualified, whatever goal area that is. So if they are found eligible for some additional support in, say, reading, they have time set aside in their day to receive additional instruction in reading.
Denise, you are a veteran teacher, and I remember you from Northwest Junior High.
Yes.
You have a long career as a classroom teacher
Mm-hmm.
before you became a specialist. Now, do you think that we offer enough service in special ed in our district?
We offer a full continuum of services in our district, and those services may be through consultation with a general education teacher. They may be in a pull-out class where a student receives the bulk of their education in a general education setting for most of the day, however, may receive some specially designed instruction for anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours a day in an additional classroom. We may have modified services for students who have a variety of disabilities. We have modified autism services, we have modified behavioral services, behavioral therapeutic services, and anything that is specified by the child's IEP.
What's an IEP?
Individualized Educational Program. The IEP team consists of at least one administrator from the district or the building, the parents, the general education teachers involved, the special education teachers involved, and any other relevant personnel, maybe occupational therapists or speech clinicians. It depends upon the needs of that individual child. The IEP team determines what those services are that a student needs to be successful.
And Savannah, Natalie mentioned just now that kids who are considered or classified as special ed, they receive special instruction or especially
Specially designed instruction.
designed instruction. What do we mean by that?
Going through the eligibility process to determine that a child is an eligible individual, we use a lot of different assessments to determine what is their current level of academic achievement, and then what are their deficits and discrepancy from their same-aged peers in each area in which they qualify. So each goal area is evidenced as a need for additional instruction on top of what all general education students are receiving in the general education environment. And the specially designed instruction is very narrowed to each individual student need based on data and is clearly defined in the IEP. So anyone who were to inherit an IEP could pick that up and very clearly have a definition of what that student's discrepancy is and what their instructional need was, and then how they would monitor that progress over time.
And do you have like a continuous observation with the school teacher of any subject matter if they are implementing this specially designed curriculum or not? Do you do that?
In my role in particular, my role in that would be working closely with teachers and our special education coaches who work directly with special education teachers at the preschool through the secondary level. They're working with them in what we call professional learning communities, meeting once a week to look at progress monitoring data to ensure that students are making adequate progress towards their very individualized goal areas, and really working with them to define what that instruction is going to look like and to continuously reflect on how that is going.
And Lisa, and you do secondary, right?
Primarily. And some elementary for modified.
So can you tell me the difference? Because if you do both, maybe you're fit to answer this question. How do you compare the service here versus the service at the secondary level?
That's a good question. I don't think that there's much of a difference between the services that you receive in elementary versus the services in secondary, but the IEP, the Individualized Education Plan, is different. So for students in secondary, they have a transition IEP, which is primarily kind of my role in the district, is to help kind of make that systematic process happen. So 14 to 21-year-old students, they must talk about living, learning, and working needs for their post-secondary outcomes. So the IEP looks a little different because it's focusing on what will their outcomes be once they leave high school. And so we're looking at unmet needs and what can we provide as a district to help students be more successful when they graduate.
And Jay, you have been as well in the district for quite some time, as far as I can remember, right?
Yes.
How many years?
16 years.
Oh, that's pretty long time.
Yes.
But now your focus is preschool, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me exactly in more expanded way, what do you do there?
Well, our preschool programs in the district, we serve both general education students and students with IEP, special education students. So I work with the programs in a variety of capacities. I help determine student placement because most students, when they're coming into preschool, they're not tied to a school yet as a home school. They haven't been to school yet. So when they're determined eligible, then I help determine what type of classroom they're going to be in, what building they're going to attend, and then how that IEP team will be pulled together. And then also just working in the classrooms with teachers on curriculum planning.
So do you have like special sessions whereby you train teachers to deliver?
Yeah, we do the same thing that Savannah was talking about at the elementary level. We have the professional learning communities, so we meet once a week with individual or small groups of teachers, and we look at different areas of curriculum. So we focus on social skills, math, literacy, and then specific student IEP goals, and look at the data to determine what areas are students making growth in and what areas might they not be making as much growth as we would like, and how do we increase that.
Denise, do you like meet as a group sometime or just laid back discussion to discuss problems or common problems, or how did you approach it, or you don't have the time to do that? I know that you probably are loaded with a lot of paperwork, but do you have time to sit together and discuss problems?
With this group?
Yeah.
Yes, once in a while, we etch out some time. It's very difficult. It's a little bit rare that we're all in the same place at the same time with extra minutes in our day. Most of us are very zeroed in, assisting the coaches or preparing for professional development for the teachers, or at IEP meetings quite frequently. So getting together is a bit of a luxury, but we try to do that once a week at least.
Back to you, Natalie, and I want to ask a question about the kid that has been diagnosed early on as having some learning disability. Is it different how to pursue a plan for this kid's education versus if this kid hasn't never been diagnosed before and you receive him at the secondary level and suddenly the problem is there?
That's a good question. I would say that when students are found eligible when they're, in elementary school or younger, that's when most of the eligibility happens. The IEP teams come together once a year to review the IEP, look at the data, make any changes that are necessary. Every 3 years, students go through what we call a reevaluation process, where really we go through the whole entire eligibility process again.
Every 3 years?
Every 3 years, to make sure that students still are eligible for special education. And that's also a time when teams can ask for additional assessments to dig deeper and find out anything that's going on with students. And that same sort of eligibility process then would happen if students at any time during their schooling, from elementary all the way up to high school, if someone suspects a disability, that eligibility process is kicked into action. And we go through that to determine whether or not they're eligible. Again, and that's where our Grantwood AEA counterparts really come in and help make that determination with the IEP team.
And Savannah, now tell me, are teachers now required to take special ed courses, whether they are going to be in this area or not? Mm-hmm. I mean, like art teachers, language art teachers. Do the College of Education people require that this candidate takes a course in special ed or not?
In my university experience and what I know about higher education, there is at least one required course relative to special education that gives a general overview of multiple disabilities and additional strategies that are useful based on what research says about those disabilities. But beyond that, unless a college-age student has an emphasis, a minor, or a double major in special education, beyond that one course, I don't know that there is any other requirement.
Well, as a coordinator, Lisanne, do you get like a chance to sit with novice teachers, new teachers? And I'm not really addressing the idea of training them, but at least mentoring, making sure that they are doing the right thing. Do you get the chance to do that sometimes?
We do. I won't say mentoring because the Iowa City Community School District has a mentoring program that they match teachers up with other teachers. But in our PLC, our weekly PLC meetings, oftentimes coordinators will attend, and that's
What's
time for us to
PLC?
talk. That's our professional learning communities.
Okay.
So that's really, that's a great time for teachers to come together, problem solve, look at data, and kind of look at an instructional strategy to help. And new teachers often find strength in being able to lean on their team members during that process. As part of being a coordinator, we develop a lot of professional development to help teachers get evidence-based practices into their classroom. And we know with teachers who've been in the district long enough that new information is coming out, so they need that information, as well as novice teachers who need just a little bit more.
Can you walk me through the process of you as the expert? Do you have certain strategy to work with school psychologists or a social worker. In the meantime, you are working with the classroom teacher?
Well, thanks for calling me an expert.
Well, all of you are. Yeah.
We do work pretty closely with the school psychologists and the school social workers. They are the ones that, if we have students that are in general education, that they are suspecting a disability, the school psychologist and social worker are the ones that start that evaluation process and determine if that student is eligible. So once that student's determined eligible, then we work closely with that team to determine what sort of supports and services they need, what sort of program they need to be in to meet their needs. So it's working with them, and then also in our classrooms for students that are eligible, if there are things come up with students that we need some expert advice on, we often will call in the school psychologist or school social worker to come in and provide some support in the classrooms.
I read recently some reports about the increasing rate of certain diagnostic decisions that are made by psychologists or psychiatrists, and some of them have to do with medications too. And I have to say that I'm a medical man basically, and I see a lot of kids who are diagnosed as attention deficit disorder or attention deficit disorder hyperactivity, and they are on Ritalin or on this or that. How does this help or hinder your functions?
I would say that the answer to that is very individualized. And as a school team or a contributing member of an IEP team, it's not necessarily always our role to talk about medication and the needs of the individual. It's very much a parent choice that they have. And
it's good that you are clarifying this, because
yeah.
we need our audience to know that it's not your decision, it's their.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that parent is definitely a pivotal member of the IEP team, as are the school personnel. And I think everyone around that table always wants what's best for that individual student, and that the ultimate decision is up to the parent. I think case by case and individual by individual, we've seen a lot of success with medication. I don't think anyone would say that it is the answer for everyone.
A very good answer. Indeed.
I think
Yeah.
it's also important to note that we work in conjunction with the physicians, and we try to keep them apprised of the progress that the student's making. We try to work with either through the parents or through the physician's office directly, if that's the parent's choice, to let them know what we're seeing in the classroom.
And Denise, do you feel that the medical people are ready to respond positively to your input in this case, or not?
I feel that they are. I feel we have a lot
Okay.
of really positive connections with the medical people in the community. At times they have come and worked very closely with us, whether individually. They're very good about signing releases, or the parents would sign a release and we can talk to those physicians either directly or through weekly communications. Some teachers communicate weekly with just an email or a follow-up.
Do you think, we have a couple of minutes, do you think that you would like to convey any message to our audience here? Do you want to tell our audience something about your service, how they can connect with you, how they can help their kid in case the kid needs?
I would say that the special education process can be daunting and overwhelming at times for parents. You get a giant manual when you walk in the door that tells you all your rights that you're supposed to read, and then you're presented with a team of experts, and sometimes parents are very much out of their depth and need that education. The Grantwood AEA has a parent education partnership to help parents with this area, and I think that's something that we can promote more with them and have conversations with. But I think, in my experience, the best time is just come talk to your teacher and work in conjunction with your team to really help you get the answers that you need.
Oh, great. Of course, we have, I think, to wrap this up, because I know, Savannah, you prepared a nice video for us, right? Or
Yeah.
DVD.
Yeah,
Can,
the
can you
video
tell
is-
us something about it? Because while you are talking, John is going to plug it in so
Sure.
our audience will watch it.
The video is going to highlight the preschool programs in the Iowa City School District, and what you will see is a variety of ways in which instruction is delivered within our preschool programs. All students receive core instruction in a whole group setting and in a small group setting, and then the students who have individualized education programs receive that specially designed instruction in a one-on-one setting, and you'll see that in the video as well. That really paints a picture of how students receive special education services in the Iowa City preschool programs.
Well, at the end of this segment, I would like to appreciate so much you coming tonight, and that was so generous that all the leadership is here, except, I think, Carmen?
That's Carmen Dixon, our director.
Carmen, okay, so next time you bring
We'll make sure
Carmen with you, and you are welcome anytime you want to add to our information. We are going to be on Channel 21, Channel 18, on YouTube tomorrow evening, as well as Public Access TV website. Thank you very, very much for this.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Welcome to school today, rise and shine. And welcome to school today, rise and shine. And welcome to school today. We're so glad you're here.
Question of the day. It's a question. How many words? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 words. 5 on this hand. Hold up your 5. 4 on this hand. It's got 9 words in that question. It says, how do you feel when you listen to music? We talked about different kinds of feelings. Excited, sad, silly. You know, different kinds of music can make you feel different, can't they? You can feel a little differently with different kinds of music. Some friends said excited, somebody answered sad, and some friends answered silly. If you think you know which one has the most names, raise your hand. Pattern has things in order. You do it again and again. Lego car. You're right.
That's a pattern. Jump forward, jump back. March, march, march.
Jump forward, jump back. March, march, march. Jump forward, jump back. March, march, march. Jump forward. 1, 2,
We're going to start at the tip top. It says, what kind of contest did the town have? Did they have a pie contest? Did they have a snowman contest? Or did they have a tug of war contest?
They have a snow car.
Take your chip and mark it with your answer.
A snowman contest.
The next one says, who are the characters in the story? Are they mice? Are they boys? Or are they cats?
For mice.
Use your chip and mark your answer. Use the book and figure it out. What were they doing? The mayor announced to the town, we're going to have a snowman contest. So did everyone pick the snowman? Awesome. Okay. Who are the characters? Who are these? Are they boys?
Boys.
Are they cats?
They're
Or
boys.
are they mice?
They're mice.
Look at the pictures. Do they look like you guys, boys and girls?
No.
Or do they look like mice or cats? You think they look like boys? They made them look like boys, but I think no. Then go put with Steve.
Bow.
Oh, what is this one?
Bow.
Toys.
Bow. Grape. Apple. Echo. What? Banana. Cookie.
Potato head.
Cheetah head.
Let's put with same. Ready? Toys. What's this one? Toys. the corn. Down. Piece on. Push. Push. Good job. One more.
Dragon? Where? Where's the
More
dragon?
pieces. Good job.